Joining us on the set, Javier Manjarres, the managing editor of the Shark Tank political blog. Also here to talk with us, Representative Ron DeSantis of Florida, a member of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs. This is something, gentlemen, that obviously goes center stage. Governor Huckabee emailed us at Newsmax yesterday saying if the GOP doesn't, quote, stand up, he wouldn't be leaving the GOP. The GOP would be leaving social values voters like him. First, to Congressman DeSantis, one thing you can say about Mike Huckabee is he is not mincing words.
Well, good morning, guys. Look, all I can say is being in the Congress and seeing the left wing of the Democratic Party and the elite media in action, they are hostile to conservative cultural values across the board. They're hostile to religious liberty and a lot of our traditions. And I think that the Republican Party and conservative voters are really the only force against that. And you see this in instances in which the Health and Human Services Department is forcing Catholic nuns at the Little Sisters of the Poor to be complicit in abortifacients and other things that really go against core values of religious freedom. So I understand where he's coming from, but I think there's a whole bunch of issues in which the left is hostile to where the governor is going to be coming from. And really, you've got to have a strong opposition party to be able to stand up for those values.
So you're on the campaign trail right now, Ron. Do you avoid discussing gay marriage? What happens when you get the question at campaign forums?
I got to be honest, I do not get the question very often at all. I get questions more about Obamacare infringing on religious liberty. I get more questions about taxpayers' dollars going to fund abortions under Obamacare, which the House voted to stop. And so I think the salience of the issue, from what I can tell, has declined somewhat.
All right, let's turn to Javier, who spends his time speculating on politics and advising people from time to time about this. Take a look at the implications of this in the upcoming presidential race. Does a statement like this from Mike Huckabee galvanize social conservatives and make him the guy that everybody goes, wow, he's speaking out, he's taking a stand, good for him, I'm with him?
Well, I agree, it galvanizes conservatives, but at the end of the day, he's not going to run as an independent. If he's running for president, he's going to lose. No one's going to back him. The money will not get behind him. So I think he's speaking out of emotion. God bless him. He's right. But I don't think he'll turn to the Democrat. I don't think he's going to flip like Charlie Crist and become an independent.
No, well, again, he is leading with both his heart and head. Right. And it may have less to do with running as an independent and more to do with those key Republican primaries and caucuses early in the campaign season in 2016.
Right. But again, he's not going to be able to garner the monies needed to run a successful campaign, whether it's in Iowa, South Carolina, and especially here in Florida.
I'm saying, though, he,
right,
as a Republican, and remember, he's got a pretty good base last time that took him through the early
right,
roll of the primaries back in 2008 as a Republican. And what I'm saying is I expect he will remain a Republican, at least early on in this. But that brings up the whole question of what happens with the question of gay marriage. And let me go back to Ron DeSantis on this. Ron, there's been a lot of concern that when it comes to marriage, the federal government has overreached, that it's really up to the states. What's your take on that philosophy? About 30 seconds to answer, please.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely. I don't think the federal government has any authority to redefine marriage. It is an issue for the states. But I think Justice Kennedy, in that Windsor opinion, he basically put a lot of rhetoric in there, even though he said he wasn't dealing with marriage. And I think a lot of the courts have grabbed onto that. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of decisions come out the way they have.
Fair enough. Ron DeSantis, we're going to ask you to stay right there. Javier Manjarres, you stay right here at the anchor desk because there are other issues we are going to get to, including Ebola and ISIS. And there is more to come this Friday morning on America's Forum.